thank you for joining me again tonight. This video I'm going to be talking a bit about meditation, so I hope it's something that you find beneficial. There are many different ways to meditate. Everything is always a personal experience, so this is just my opinion, my recommendations, and a little bit about how I meditate. So there are many physical benefits to meditation. It's stress relieving, it is great for anxiety and high blood pressure and things like that. And the type of, I guess you could call it like biofeedback techniques that kind of lull you and are able to kind of soothe you and help you think more clearly, help you focus, things like that. But in my personal journey, I use meditation for more of a spiritual practice. What I mean by that is there is no book or teacher or amulet or anything that can teach you more about yourself, your journey, your soul and spirit than you yourself. And going within is how we get in touch with that, how we're able to do the work for whatever we need that for, whether that be working through something for personal growth and expansion in one way or another, for just getting in touch with ourselves, for knowing and understanding ourselves and who we truly are at our cores. So let's just say there's a little bit of prep that goes into meditation. Now, you don't have to prep by any means, but sometimes it can be helpful. It can be kind of like the routine to kind of let your brain know, like, okay, it's going to be like meditating time. I can start to unwind. I can start to cease those kind of hectic thoughts and whatnot. So I like to, and I don't every time, but I like to clear my space before I'm going to meditate. One way that I would do that would be light a candle. Here I have like a little red candle, and I would clear the space with some smudge, and I would clear myself too in my auric field. So here I have my favorite. You could light incense, so this would smoke, and I would kind of a little bit of this, definitely my head. Maybe under my arms, my chest, and etc., and just kind of like smudge myself out. So another way you can clear your space is with sound. So I find this to be very soothing and a great way to clear the space, so to speak. Now, why do we clear our space? Well, negative emotions, just hectic energies kind of get caught in the air in our environment, and it's nice to kind of give it a little cleansing before we're gonna settle in and do some, I don't want to say soul searching, but some spiritual work. Another great tool for keeping your space sacred is this stone, which is, or mineral, it's just black kyanite. This is a black kyanite wing or blade. I mean, they do really look like wings, right? It's really beautiful, and kyanite is just very powerful for protecting your area, and just works really nicely with meditation, in my opinion. So this is one I would definitely recommend for your meditation space. If you wanted to set up, a great thing to do would be to like set up a little altar for yourself we could keep a candle, maybe some incense, some stones if you like stones, pictures of whatever figures you like, or gods, or angels, or anything that you're into, fairies, like really anything. I don't mean to discredit, I just mean, you know, whatever you're, absolutely whatever you're into. It could be like cartoons, like some nerd alert thing with me is like I have a very deep spiritual connection with like Adventure Time. So having Jake on my altar would be very appropriate for me. Another beautiful thing to keep by your space would be a piece of selenite. This is a tower, so it's very appropriate for a for putting in your space, because it will generate and send out its energy in more or less uniform type of emission. So this is a selenite tower. So this could be sitting on your altar too, something for you to focus on. Don't need anything like this. This is just some of the things that I like to do. Okay. You could play music if that was something that soothed you, like singing bowl music, or just, you know, there's so much meditation music out there, whatever you find to be the most, what suits you best. Stones are great. I have a little collection here to share with you, and I'll talk more about this down the road too in this video, but these stones kind of serve a dual purpose. So here is an apophyllite cluster. Apophyllite is wonderful for connecting you to that, or just getting you into that meditative state a little more easily for those who find it challenging. I picked an opalite, which is just, it's man-made, but it's very sweet and soothing, and it reminds me of calming energies, and it's very programmable because it is primarily quartz. So this is a nice one for meditation, in my opinion. I like the idea of having a shape too. This is an octahedron fluorite piece. And this kind of serves another purpose as well. So, as far as posture or prepping still, what's good before, there are different postures you can get into. Typically, you want to be seated, either cross-legged or, you know, yoga kind of sitting, like, I forget what it's called, like lotus seat or lotus pose or whatever, something like that. But it's nice to be sitting with your back straight and your head and neck aligned. You can have your eyes open or closed. I close mine often, but opening them is great too. It keeps you focused. What we want to focus on during, or what we're trying to do rather during meditation, is to be present in the moment and allow the moment to live within us for that time being that we're doing that. As far as time goes, I wouldn't recommend more than 10 minutes for someone. If you're just starting out, you might find that you want to do it longer. You might find that you're really into it, you're having a great experience, you're feeling all this energy, and you're really connecting with yourself. So longer might be better in that case. However, start small, you know, don't rush it, don't force yourself. 2 minutes would be great to start with, you know. There's no long way to do that. Okay, so prior to finding the seat that you feel most comfortable in, it's great to do some stretching, maybe a little yoga if you're into it, just so we can sit comfortably and sit for, you know, a longer period of time for the most part. You can get a nice pillow from behind your back and kind of recline a little if you're into it. I often meditate laying down because I like to do it before I go to bed. So I'll bring some crystals, hold some crystals, and be reclined, not laying down totally flat, but pretty flat with like a couple of pillows maybe. And then I can meditate and kind of like drift into like maybe a lucid dream or something like that if I get lucky. So stretching is a good practice to do but prior to your meditations. Okay, so we're comfortable, we're sitting, we have our hands on our legs, and our eyes are closed or maybe just relaxed and kind of gazing. Now, we often hear about quieting our thoughts or quieting our mind. Your mind is made to not be quiet. Your mind is constantly getting signals and stuff, and that's perfectly fine. What we want to work past is those hectic, kind of chaotic, nuisance thoughts. The thoughts that don't really make a difference right now at all. Like, oh, what's the weather going to be tomorrow? What am I going to make for dinner? What do I have going on this weekend? Oh, did I return that email? Did I send the email? Did I hit send? Like, those kind of thoughts that just, like, not serving you. And you don't need those thoughts right now. Like, this is not the time. So it's nice to get rid of those. Those are the thoughts we're trying to eliminate. We're not trying to eliminate all thought. But being present, whether that be by focusing on our body, feeling the floor beneath us, feeling our back supported by the wall, feeling any pain if we feel slight kink in our neck, if our shoulders need to be stretched. Just acknowledging what's physically going on. You might have some emotional things, some stress, something causing these thoughts to kind of keep running around, a theme, if you will. What's nice and what I've read recently was to focus on the physical manifestations of those thoughts. So let's say sometimes you get a pain in your stomach when you have these negative thoughts or emotions. Sometimes you feel a tightness in your chest. Sometimes you have a headache. Whatever it is, or just whatever you're sensing, bring it physical to kind of get out of that thought zone and into a physical present tense, which is a really wonderful tool. I'm really glad that I learned that one recently. So we're focusing on our body. If we're lucky enough, we'll be able to just focus on our breath. So I'm relaxing. I'm still. And I get a thought. Oh, you know, my grandmother called me the other day and I forgot to call her back. Crap. It's too late now. One of those thoughts. So I acknowledge it. Oh, I see you. I'll get back to you. Now's not the time. And I send that thought away without forcing it. Just an acknowledgement. Yeah, okay, cool, thanks. I'll keep that in mind. I don't need to think about it right now, though. And kind of let it go. And return to my breath. So maybe I'm counting in for 4. Hold for 5. And out for 6. Something like that might work for you. Personally, I find breath work to be the hardest one to bring me back because it's not active enough. It's not the breath and the thought of breathing, the counting, the in, out. It's like a thought still. So it doesn't really work that wonderfully for me all the time, or at least it definitely didn't when I first started doing this. If that's the case for you and that stillness, that quietness, that forced quietness is too much for you, a great thing would be to have something nearby, like something to play with. The stone is great for that. So here's the apophyllite. So I'm going to relax my gaze and just stare at something like this. Turn it around, play with it a little, and just be very present, very focused on what's in front of me. I don't have to think about anything. gonna admire and kind of stare off into space. Another great one would be like the flame of a candle. It's very easy to kind of get lost in something like that. So you could do that with another stone too. Like here's a really pretty labradorite. And just hold it in your hand and just gaze and just get lost in it and just again be very present. Maybe you don't want to keep your eyes open, maybe you're more comfortable with your eyes closed. Maybe a little shape would be good, just something to kind of like fidget with. So even if you're not looking at it, you're feeling it and you're playing with it and kind of rolling it around in your hands as you sit still and allow like your thoughts to drift away. And just be still. Now, those are kind of my tips, I guess you could say, for getting in a meditative state. Often, when I meditate, I like to have a theme of some sort, whether that be dependent on the moon cycle. Like right now, this probably won't work. It probably won't be the same when I upload this video, but there's a new moon coming, so maybe my theme would be, what can I release? What no longer serves me? What can I manifest? I would be open to receiving these messages from my higher self during this meditation. Something along those lines. If you work with angels or gods or passed on relatives or anything like that, it's very more than okay for you to invite them into your meditative state, meditative time, and connect with them and just like, hey, Uncle so-and-so, if you have any advice for me, something like that. Like, that's perfectly okay to do. You don't have to do anything like that if you're spooked by that, but that's perfectly okay. It's an appropriate time to make a connection like that. Sometimes when I kind of want a theme, but I don't know exactly, I don't really have anything going on, or I don't really want to, I don't want to create the theme myself. I'm kind of looking to see if my guides have anything for me. I'll use something like this. I really enjoy this. I love the book. It's called Trust Your Vibes, their Oracle card deck. And these are very, very helpful for just nice to pull a card for the day. But I like to do this prior to meditating too. So, just to give me like a little theme. So, here's the cards. Just shuffle them a little. See if anything jumps out at me. Here we go. Now this is a good one. So it's stay in your own skin. So that kind of makes me feel like it wants me to be present. It has a little book, so I'll confirm. I'll let you know what this one says, just in case you're interested. As a sixth sensory person, you have a tendency to become overly empathetic at times. You not only sense others' vibrations, but you also absorb and internalize them as your own. This is not only physically unhealthy, but it can make you psychically sick if you do not... Oh, I read it wrong. This is not only psychically unhealthy, but it can make you physically sick if you do it often enough. Oh goodness, I can't write today. The cure is to mentally and emotionally stay in your own skin and don't operate like a psychic sponge absorbing the energy around you. It is okay to support others, but don't try to rescue them. It interrupts your growth and it harms you as well. Stay in your skin by slowly breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth while focusing on your body. The more you breathe, the more you keep your own spirit and allow others the dignity of managing their own affairs. Another key to disengaging is to see and name the physical objects around you. This 2-minute psychic energy adjustment resets your balance. It's nice to care, but don't carry. Well, that kind of touches on what we were just talking about. For me, that means just, again, like being present and protecting myself and things like that. So that's funny. I hope you found that interesting. I really do enjoy this card deck. The book is wonderful. I've talked about it before. It's a really wonderful book. So that oracle card deck is called Trust Your Vibes. So that's really all that I have to say about meditation. I hope that you will take the time to meditate. It's a great practice to add to your day, even if you start with 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, or 2 minutes, or anything that you can squeeze in. I think that you'll find that it's much easier to connect with yourself, and that you get to know yourself a lot more, and you see what truly matters to you. There have been times where there is no thought in my head when I'm meditating, and it's very quiet, but physically I'm feeling these like energies just like flowing and expanding, and I, just feel that I'm becoming more receptive to retaining information, to receiving information, to connecting with like-minded individuals or people that have something to teach me, or maybe I have something to teach them. It's really hard to put into words what a special practice it is, but I highly would hope that it's something that you will add to your day if you don't already. I would also love to hear how you meditate. I've met people who meditating wasn't their thing, and I, talk to them about it and whatnot, but they love running, like jogging or something very, very physical, and it kind of turns out, or surfing or something like that, and it kind of turns out that like that might be how you meditate. It might not be typical, it might not be the sitting still, under a beautiful tree with like the sun setting and chanting Om and whatnot. But there is a meditative kind of state that we get into when we're very physical as well, whether we're taking a brisk walk or in our zone. Like I love riding my bike, I feel very without thought when I'm riding my bike. I feel very present. I feel very in the moment and being true to myself during those times. So maybe that's something that works with you. Maybe you like to paint. Maybe you like to bake. Maybe you knit things or work with metal or write or whatever, something like that, like it can be anything. It doesn't have to be this very, this like image of this like Zen state where you're just kind of sitting there like, oh, I'm meditating, don't mess with me, that kind of thing. It might be something very different that serves you better. Regardless, getting to the point where we can use the breath, where we don't necessarily need to rely on something else, is very beneficial, because once we start to like train ourselves that way, I guess you could say, we can utilize that when we're out and about, when we start feeling stressed or anxiety, or we get some bad news. We can kind of like center and just realize that everything that matters, this is gonna sound, I was gonna say everything that matters is internal, but I don't necessarily mean that's the only thing that matters, but our internal not integrity, but inside flowing through outside, our internal zen, our internal, oh goodness, I can't think of the word that I want to use. Rats. Well, that peace, that comfort in our own skin, etc., is really what matters, and that changes everything. You could be in a crowded place. Let's say we're online buying groceries or something, like in line rather, or in line at a bank, or something that you kind of just start feeling stressed about because you're like, oh, I have so much stuff to do, but like nothing's gonna change and make the line go faster. But when you just kind of like take a little moment for yourself, when you can snap into it and kind of get that like me time, get into your breath, meditate, stare off into space, whatever it is, that's healthy, you know. It's calming. It's not focusing on, oh, this is taking so long, this is not working, oh, somebody should do something about this, blah blah blah. Those are not thoughts that are going to help us for the rest of the day. In fact, you run the risk, we all run the risk of negatively impacting our day in any sense when we start to feel like that, because it's kind of can start this like chain reaction of like negativity or stress or stuff like that. So being able to check it at the door, like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little, yeah, let me go within for a second. Yeah, I know I'm holding this like all these groceries or whatever, but I'm just gonna wait. I got this. 2 minutes, and it will just so greatly benefit you. I know that it will. Anyway, I hope that you found this useful. I love making these videos. I appreciate all the support. I've just updated my website. I will put that website in the description below if you would like to see any of the services that I offer. Thank you to all who have reached out to me so far through there and who have gotten some sessions. I really enjoyed being able to connect with you guys and making necklaces and things like that. It's one of my favorite things to do. So thanks to you guys for doing that, and just thank you for watching and being a part of my little journey here. So thank you, and namaste.